Hello, everyone. Today I want to talk about salt. Salt, like eggs, is not bad for your health. I said what I said, and I'll say it again. Salt is not bad for your health, and neither are whole eggs. Does anyone really want to eat just an egg white? Salt is necessary for the metabolic processes that our body does every day. Salt has often been stereotyped as bad for you and bad for your blood pressure. But the reality is, less than 50% of people with high blood pressure are actually sensitive to salt. Research in 2011 found that placing people on an extremely low salt diet actually increased the risk of insulin resistance, just like diets that are high in salt. The reality is, it's probably more related to eating processed chemicals with processed salt in processed foods and the impact that all of those things can have on our body, and not just the salt itself. My name is Dr. Amy. I'm a pharmacist, a certified functional and nutritional medicine provider, and a certified health coach. I serve people by giving them education and tools they need to take charge of their health and improve their wellness. In this video, I want to talk about the different types of salt and why some are better for you than others, so you can make a decision what is right for you and your family. Have you ever made the mistake of accidentally dumping a bunch of salt into your food that you were cooking at dinner time? The other day, I was putting food in the crock pot because it was going to be a hectic day. It was one of those days where I was basically living in the car and taking kids everywhere, but I still wanted to have a healthy meal ready for us at the end of the night, so I decided to use the crock pot. I had one of those jars that has the grinder on top, and when I went to add the salt to the crock pot, the entire top of the grinder fell off, dumping a whole lot of salt into the crock pot. It was a mess. If you've ever had that happen to you, I want to share just one little trick that I learned because I've had it happen to me before. And you can fix this situation by, first, you want to remove as much of the salt as you can off of the top of the food that you're preparing. But the next thing you can do is add a little bit of vinegar. So sometimes an apple cider vinegar or balsamic vinegar will counteract the effect of the salt and make it edible again. So it doesn't remove the salt that you've already accidentally put in, but at least it can make it so that you can eat it again instead of having to completely throw out your food and start all over again. There are quite a few different types of salt on the market, so let's just start with the traditional iodized table salt. This is a salt that is most commonly available, and most people have this one in their homes and are used to cooking with it. Originally, the iodine was added to the salt to help prevent thyroid goiters from developing. So this type of salt is mined from underground salt mines around the world, but it is processed, so it is stripped of most of the other trace minerals that are in it, and instead chloride and iodine are added to this product. So you have to keep in mind that you're losing some of the trace minerals that are important in our diet when you're using this kind of salt. You won't get those. Kosher salt is a coarse salt, and many people have used this for making brines. And the term kosher salt became popular in North America, referring to the Jewish religious practice of dry brining meats, and this is called kashering. That has nothing to do with the salt actually being manufactured under religious guidelines. So there are some brands, though, that do further identify their product as kosher certified salt that has been approved for meeting those religious standards for use. So this type of salt doesn't have any of the additives such as iodine or fluoride or dextrose. So it's also often used, like I said, for making brines, but it's also used in place of the traditional table salt because it doesn't have that bitter metallic taste to it. The thing I want to talk about kosher salt is because it is such a big coarse grained salt, You need to pay attention when you're using it in your recipes so that you get the right amount of salt, because the amount you're going to use of kosher salt is much different than the volume of salt you would use from a typical table salt. Then there's sea salt. Sea salt is made by evaporating seawater. This type of salt is less processed than iodized salt, so it may contain trace minerals that can be beneficial to your body, but it may also contain trace amounts of toxins. Anything that was present in the seawater, like petroleum or pesticides, could still remain in the finished product after it was processed. Have you heard of pink salt, also called Himalayan salt? This type of salt comes from the ancient salt mines under lava rock under Pakistan. Pink salt or Himalayan salt is unrefined. It contains essential minerals such as calcium, magnesium, and potassium. Anytime you hear the word essential in front of a nutrient like magnesium or calcium, it means that the nutrient is something that our body cannot make, and it's something that we have to eat to get into our diet. So pink salt is less likely to be contaminated with toxins because its age in the salt mines predates the use of modern day toxins and chemicals that we see in our environment today. We also have Celtic salt or gray salt. This is a coarse, moist salt that is made by evaporating the ocean water off the coast of France. So if there are any toxins in the ocean water, then they could end up in the final product, like mercury, lead, or plastics. This salt is also unrefined, but it does contain trace minerals, and it's very high in iron, and it is lower in sodium. The last type of salt I'll talk about today is Redmond's real salt. This is an unrefined salt. It's harvested from salt mines located under Utah here in the States. Redmond's real salt can be pink or red, and it contains trace minerals. It comes from salt mines that were created before the use of modern day environmental toxins, so it's not likely to have any type of contamination in it. What do you think? What type of salt have you tried or would you like to try? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I just recently purchased some of the Redmond's real salt to try, and it's quite tasty. I didn't really notice any big difference between that and the regular table salt. And since I have issues with my thyroid and I've learned that the iodized table salt is not the best form of iodine for my body, I decided to give it a go. Nobody in my house has noticed any kind of a switch yet, so I think I'm going to keep it for now. I also like to use sea salt or kosher salt or sometimes even pink salt, depending on what I'm cooking. So share your thoughts in the comments below and let me know what you like to cook with in your house. Thank you for watching today. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and share it so I can help serve others. If you have any topics you'd like me to cover, just put those down in the comments below so I can add it to my list. Again, my name is Dr. Amy, and I wish you good health.